Okay, the oil is excellent. Make sure the mic is good. Yep, test, test, test. Mic is good, mic is good. Slight notch. Okay, what is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless one of the man Lincoln Clay. We are back for a live stream of GT7. Originally, I did not plan to stream today, at least GT7, but I do like today's daily race C. It isn't. I think it is 11 laps at Barcelona. So races like that on GT7, they're a little more what's the word I'm looking for? I prefer to do those races because even with the dirty racing that's rampant through GT7, on the daily race C, which is more laps, whenever something like that happens, I actually have a chance to recover and try to fight my way back. But on these short 5-6 lap sprint races, if I get knocked off the track, your race is pretty much over. You'll never make it up in time. Whereas an 11 lap race, especially where pit strategy is concerned, you know, if you've got the pace, you've got a legitimate shot to get back into it. So that being said, this is a daily race C. I believe it's 11 laps. Barcelona, one of my favorite tracks. So I was feeling it. Definitely want to jump in today. So I think we'll go register for the race.
J-Dog said, "What up, Lincoln?"
Hey, J-Dog, it's been
a while.
Yeah, it's been forever. How you been? Race D is Group 4. Yeah, I don't have any interest in that. Yep, so there is a minimum 1 pit stop, just like I figured. Entry period starts in 8 minutes. All right.
J-Dog said, "Pretty good. Just working mostly.
I know how that goes.
Hope you doing good."
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. But yeah, I definitely know about the working part. Might have to turn that down a little bit more, because I do not want the game audio to overpower my voice. But if anybody recognizes a definite imbalance where you can't hear one audio or the other, let me know, because the output from my microphone as well as the game audio is separate. So all right, so we've got about 8 minutes before registration opens. So let's get the headset on and let's do a couple of practice laps, and we'll talk a little bit about the title of this stream as to whether I think any more sims would come to PSVR 2. All right. So for this race, I'm going to start out with the Ford GT. I think, as usual, from a couple of the streams that I've been watching, as usual, it seems that the Nissan GT-R and I'm guessing probably the Toyota Supra are probably the meta cars. I refuse to use them, so... was a backbreaker.
J-Dog said, has there been any news that the Pro will improve PSVR 2 games such as GT Sport?
Well, there is some improvements as far as like the ray tracing, and I think the visuals, but they're being kind of tongue-in-cheek in terms of talking about, you know, what kind of improvements we could possibly see as far as PSVR 2 goes. I personally, I'm just not sure. Do one more lap.
J-Dog said, are you getting the Pro if it's a worthy improvement?
That possibly. Bottom line is whether I get a Pro or not, it all depends on what people have to say about whether there's any noticeable improvement to this game relative to PSVR 2. Oh. All right, let's go back out and register for the race. I know that lap time is dog crap, but but we'll come back and at some point, like the next race, we'll come back and try it in the McLaren. Okay, so PS5 Pro. I guess there's supposed to be like 50 games that are supposed to be Pro enhanced for the PS5 Pro. The only game that has the letters VR attached to it for PS5 Pro enhancement would be Kayak VR. There isn't any other mention of things that specifically say VR. Now, I guess Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 4 Remake and GT7, those are all games that is this listed as having PS5 Pro support, but we don't know if that includes any VR enhancements. So that's what it comes down to. So my biggest issue with PSVR 2 relative to this game is the reprojection. I've said it so many times. If originally I said I would not buy PS5 Pro unless GT7 ran at a native 90 frames per second. Now that I understand a little bit of how PS5 Pro works, it's highly doubtful that the game is going to run at 90 frames native for PSVR 2. It sounds to me like the PS5 Pro is basically an upscaling console that allows them to, run native resolutions as low as 800p for some games that I've heard, but then upscale them to 1440p or 4K, which isn't a bad thing. But I think that because what I don't know is will the PSSR technology be applied to PSVR 2, which currently uses the FSR AMD technology, which I have to say for PSVR 2 isn't all that good, because the vast majority of the games on PSVR 2 has reprojection because of FSR, and it can lead to a blurred picture. It can lead to ghosting, and for me, I need, when I'm sim racing, the more clear the picture is, the better. That being said, I just don't know what to expect. If PSVR 2 uses the PSSR technology, in theory, it should look a little bit better through the VR headset, but that just remains to be seen. So bottom line is, I think there's a couple of YouTubers that I believe are going to get the PS5 Pro, and I'm waiting to see what they say. And that would be AJ of PSVR Underground. He really loves GT7 on PSVR 2, and so does Jammy Hero. And I think both of them plan on getting PS5 Pros. And those are basically the two guys that I'm waiting to see what they say. So if they say they can see an improvement and that the reprojection has been lessened, then I could possibly go ahead and get a PS5 Pro. If I do get one, I will walk into a Best Buy and get one. I will not get one through PlayStation Direct because I just don't want to go through that headache again. I mean, your package will arrive on set date. The problem is you don't know what time. So when I got my PSVR 2, I had to take the day off and basically sat on my brother's porch waiting for the package to arrive. So I probably sat there for about 3 hours waiting for the package to get there. You know, I had to do some digging and find out when, like, UPS does their runs and on certain parts of town, all that stuff. I'm not going through that. So that being said, yeah, the only way, if I do get a PSVR, if I do get a PS5 Pro, I'm going to walk into a Best Buy or a Target or a Walmart and pick one up. I am not getting it through PlayStation Direct. I won't even get it through Amazon. So another factor, whether or not I get a PS5 Pro, would probably be if I can find a buyer for my PS5. Or depends on how much GameStop would give me on trade, which I don't think is very good. I could take a quick look. But I think last I might have heard, I think they might be giving like $250 trade. Here. So give me a second. I'm checking out GameStop right now. Track orders. Let me see here. Digital. Trading cards. Here we go. Trade in. Consoles.
J-Dog said, "Yes, 700 is a lot to swallow, plus the disk drive if you need it."
Well, the majority of the games that I've been buying have been digital. And truth be told, I don't buy a lot of games on PS5, so I'm not really going to be affected that much by not having a disk drive, because the majority of my games I buy on PC. I mean, at this point, GT7 was really the only game I was even interested in buying a PS5 for, you know, so I could play GT5 on PSVR 2. All that being said, other than that, the only time I really buy a game on PS5 is whenever it's on sale, or I might go out of my way to buy a game to support a developer. So here we are, PS5 Slim Console Digital Edition 264, PS5 Slim Console Disc version. Okay, so they're giving it says up to. So they're giving up to $275 trade for a PS5. That's crazy. They're actually giving more money away for a Series X. They're giving up to $286 for a Series X. So yeah, up to $275. I don't know. I don't know. So I would still have to come out of pocket roughly $450 when you factor in sales tax. So going back to what I was saying about AJ, PSVR Underground, and Jammy Hero, assuming they get PS5s, And assuming they give us a review of GT7 on PSVR 2, they need to say something. They need to say that the improvements are definitive. You know, that they would almost have to say that they can see the improvements right out of the gate. It can't be a situation where they got to go through a microphone, or, you know, they have to see it, you know, 400 times before something finally clicks. It has to be definitive. They have to be able to notice the improvements right out of the gate. If they can't say something like that, then I don't think I'm going to get a PS5 Pro, because I would not be happy if I traded in my PS5 and still had to put an extra $450 with it to get a Pro, only to basically see the same thing that I'm seeing through the PS5. I would not be happy. I would be pissed, in fact. So I am not going to get caught by the FOMO of feeling like I got to have a PS5 Pro day one. I need to hear what people are saying about it. I am at a point where I got to tighten my belt, so I can't just go pissing money all over the place. Oh my God.
said. WSG bro.
How's it going? Oh, here we go with the dirty racing. Let me stay away from this dude. Jeez, taking an awful long time. That was a backbreaker. Yeah, we're definitely going back to my McLaren next race. I thought I would be able to do something with this car. narrowly escaped that one. Well, we will not be using that car again. For this next race, I think I'm actually going to have to go back to the NSX because I need a car that takes corners better. All right, AB. Oh, the WSG was good, bro. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, speech chat read that funny. It was like WSG BRO or something like that. So I'm like, what the world? But yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I need AC in here because it is warm already. Yeah, for this race, I think I'm going to go back to the NSX. All right, let's see if we can get a lap or two in.
John Paul Squarter said, "How much was the setup minus heatist and PS5?
1 second. If you're talking about my rig, I paid a lot for it, but I mean, if you want to get into it, you don't have to pay near as much money as I did. You know, being that you're asking me that question, I'd imagine you probably already got a PS5. If you don't have a PSVR 2, you don't have to pay full price for one if you're willing to get one off of eBay. You can probably get one off of eBay for around, you know, $350, maybe $3 if you get lucky.
John Paul Squarter said, "I just need a wheel and pedals. What should I look at spending?"
How much do you want to spend? Because like, I spent a lot for mine, but like I said, you don't have to spend near as much money as I did. Depending on how much money you want to spend, I think that new Thrustmaster T1, that T598 that just came out, might be perfect. I think, yeah, I think that Thrustmaster T598 might be the perfect starter kit. Oh, well, that lap is trash. So yeah, I can go ahead and take a second to answer your question.
John Paul Squarter said, T598 or G598?
Yeah, the T598, because like with wheelbases now, we're into the direct drive thing. Everybody's pretty much done with belt driven. So Thrustmaster just came out with the Thrustmaster T598. It's 5 Newton meters of torque.
John Paul Squarter said, what kind of pedals are optimals?
Load cell pedals are optimal, but with the Thrustmaster T598, the pedals are not load cell, but you have an option to buy the load cell pedal separate. So it sells for $500. That comes with the wheel, a 5 Newton meter wheelbase, comes with pedals, and it is PlayStation licensed. Because like Fanatec charges more for anything that's PlayStation licensed. They charge like an extra $200. So that's why I think the T598 is the perfect starter kit. So it's got a it's got a holding torque of 5 Newton meters, meaning it'll do 5 Newton meters continuously, but when needed, it will give you an extra boost, and I think it can go up as high as 7 Newton meters. You know, for boosts whenever it's needed. So I think that's pretty good. This wheelbase I have right here is 20 Newton meters, and I don't even use half of it. So if I had a chance to do it all over again, I don't know if I would have bought this wheelbase, because it was overkill. But at the time that I bought it, there was not that many direct drive wheelbases out there. So, you know, Fanatec had a stranglehold on the
John Paul Squarter said, can that also be used on the PC VR?
Yep, it can be used on PC, and I think it can even be used on Xbox. So, if you go back and check my previous stream, I was showing people how they can do a complete VR sim setup for less than $1,500. You can, you know, you can catch a PSVR 2 on sale for, not on sale, on eBay for $350. You can probably catch a PS5 on eBay for $350. Being that you're asking these questions, I assume that you already have a PS5. And then the cockpit that I'm sitting in, I paid $1,000 for this cockpit, but you don't have to pay near as much as that. You know, there's decent cockpits on Amazon for like $350. Really, you know, that look really solid, and they should be able to handle that Thrustmaster T598 easily. So the $350 there, $500 for the T598. And you have the option to add a load cell pedal, which that might cost you an extra $100. But that'll get you a really, really good setup for only a fraction of the cost of what I paid.
John Paul Squarter said, thank you for answering my questions, and I will go look that up. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I own a PS5, a PSVR 2 and also a Quest 3, a PC with a 4090 and AI 014900K.
Oh,
I just want to have a good setup for the racing.
Now, if you want quality name equipment, you can check out GT Omega. But yeah, you can find something. I think you can find something solid on Amazon.
Gaming Legends said. That number 8 car says PSS him.
Oh! Oh!
John Paul Squarter said. What's that face that keeps showing up behind your shoulder?
Behind my shoulder? Damn! That killed any chance I had of taking my position back.
John Paul Squarter said, "Driver Lincoln Clay, do you regret pitting when you did?"
No. Well, maybe because I was caught right behind another car. Not only that, I was caught behind a car that had a penalty, so it would not have been a good idea for me to get caught up in a fight with him, because being that he had a penalty, he might have decided to get dirty and try to take me out. I'm all over the place. I was worried about that car behind me. I thought he might try to push me out of the way to get past me, but credit to him, he didn't take me out. I mean, given the nature of this game, how dirty people race, I thought it was a certainty that he was going to try to dive bomb me and push me out of the way, you know, and try to pinball me. As far as the pit strategy goes, when I came in, I think the only thing that made that pit strategy bad is that, yeah, once again, that when other cars were coming into the pits, I stayed out, and I happened to be behind a slower car that already had a penalty. And in this game, guys that have penalties, some of them, when you try to
Paul
overtake
Squarter said, "Good run overall."
Yeah, definitely. It turned out
Gaming
better.
Legends said, "Good race."
Thanks. It turned out better than I thought it would. I'll do it again. This time I'm going to use the McLaren because I think that Honda NSX, it took corners okay, but it didn't have much of a straight line speed. Now, the Ford GT that I used the first race, it had some decent straight line speed, but it was very, very understeery. So, as far as pit strategy goes, next time, I think the pit strategy will probably be one, if I'm caught behind a bunch of cars that's fighting with each other and they're slowing everybody up, that might be the time to come into the pits, because all they're going to do is slow you down, and then other cars behind you.
John Paul Squarter said, "What if you hadn't pitted? What would have happened?"
You would have got a penalty. The pit stop is mandatory. It's part of the is part of the requirements in this race. You have to pit at least once. Now, one thing I could have done that would have saved me some time is I could have came into the pits and I could have refused tires. So I would have just came in and just went right back out, because the car's got enough fuel to get through the whole race. An 11-lap race, a race like this that's 11 laps, I figure it's probably worth it to take the extra 5 seconds or whatever to get new tires. But yeah, if you try to go through this race without pitting, at the end of the race, they're gonna hit you with a huge time penalty. I mean, they might hit you with like a 1 or a 2 minute penalty, and that'll be a backbreaker. So you must pit. It's mandatory. You have to pit at least once.
John Paul Squarter said, "Yeah, that was a 20 SEC pit."
So next race I could
John Paul Squarter said, "Which is slow IRL."
Yeah, but like the pits on here, once the cinematics take over, I mean, you'll get out whenever the game gets you out. But in terms of how fast I got in there, that's on me. As far as the coming into the pits and getting up to the pit limiter line, that I need to get there as fast as I can, because this game does not have any penalties for pit limiters like other sim racing games like Le Mans Ultimate and ACC and stuff like that. If you shoot past that, there's no cinematics. So when you get to that pit limiter line, you have to hit that pit limiter and slow the car down in time, because if you are doing...
John Paul Squarter said, "A good NASCAR crew can do it in 14 to 17 seconds.
I don't think there's NASCAR on here, and I don't think I played a NASCAR race. But yeah, but I mean, but yeah, at the end of the day, you don't control how long it takes for them to change the tires and stuff like that, because you saw the cinematics when the car came into the pits. Because once I crossed that pit limiter line, you saw the cinematics of the pit crew waiting for the car to get there. So at that point, the game took over, or the AI took over, and there was really nothing that I could do. So but other games like again, like Le Mans Ultimate, when you
John Paul Squarter said, "I'm just saying pit crews here should be familiar."
I agree in the aspect of, like, taking a game like Le Mans Ultimate, for instance. When you come into the pits, there's no cinematics. You control how quick you get into the pits. You get into the pits, you control how much fuel you put in the car. You control whether you want tires, whether you only want one tire or you want a full set of tires. You control that. If the car is damaged and it needs to be repaired, you can choose to skip the repairs, or you can choose to, like, let the car get half repaired, whatever the case may be. You control all that, but it does affect your pit time. So yeah, like a game like Le Mans Ultimate, you completely control how long you're in the pits, whereas this game you don't. Once the cinematics take over, it's it's however long the as far as the pit crew changing the tires on this game, they do it quick. It's the run up to how long the car takes to get to the pits. That's what takes forever. And again, once you cross that pit limiter line, the game takes over. And all you can do is wait until the pit crew does their job, and then the game turns the controls back over to you. All right, let's suit up. So yeah, definitely in an endurance race, minimizing your pit stops is crucial. In this race, tire management, in my opinion, doesn't really come into play. Whereas other games, I would say Le Mans Ultimate again. If you're in a race like a 2 or a 3 hour race, tire management as well as minimizing your pit time is critical. So this time I might come into the pits after 3 or 4 laps instead of waiting 5 or 6. Yeah, these idiots are trying to pinball me out the way. I'm coming in after 2 laps because I don't want to get caught up fighting these guys all day. Look at these cars wiping each other out all over the place. Coming in now so I can avoid all this silly fighting.
John Paul Squarter said, Rubbings Racing.
Yep. And I don't want to get caught up in the middle of that shit, so I'm pitting now. That way, by the time I get back out there, hopefully I'll have a clean track, and then as the other cars start coming into the pits, I'll just go right past them and won't have to get caught up in a fight. Rubbing is racing, but I'm also trying to avoid it. Now that is how you get a podium. I made the early pit stop to avoid all that fighting, and when I got back out on the track, I had a clean track. No fighting, no need to overtake, not worrying about anybody pushing me off the road. Very boring race, but very effective. Third place. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am very happy with that. Yeah, like I said, a very boring race, but the strategy worked. Avoided all the nonsense. Well, let's go open the roulette tickets, and then I think I'm going to call it. Got 2 tickets. They're both 3 stars. Probably gonna be trash. Yeah, 5,000. Oh, at least I get some money. $10,000. Oh my God. I needed a couple of those bricks. And I need to change the oil on this car. I'll do it next time. So I think this race has shown me that maybe moving forward, I might go ahead and just stick to doing the C races regardless of the car class. That way I can figure out my pit strategy to avoid all the fighting and bumping and grinding. Because with the sprint races, there's no pit stops. So you really got to fight your way through all that stuff. That race right there is probably one of the easiest podiums I ever got on this game. I mean, yeah, that first lap I was caught up in the middle of the pack, and a couple of cars bumped me and stuff like that and was shoving me to the outside. It was at that moment that I made my mind up. I'm not going to fight with these guys. So I think that was an excellent strategy, and it definitely paid off. So with that, I've got some things I got to do. So I think I'm going to go ahead and call it. I do like this daily race because Barcelona is one of my favorite tracks. So I can definitely say that I will come back and do a GT7 stream again later this week. Tomorrow or Wednesday, I'm looking at doing Le Mans Ultimate. Also, when I do the Le Mans Ultimate stream, I plan to talk about what I think you need for a minimum PC and a recommended PC in order to get into VR sim racing and have a good experience. So I'll talk about, hey, if you're going to build a PC, this is what you're going to need minimum. And if you want to have a good experience across the board, then I'll give you my recommendations. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and boogie on out of here and hope to see you tomorrow or Wednesday. And until then, everybody have a good night. And you all know the line. Wakanda forever, long live the king, and deuces.